Potty time. Welcome to another episode of the Chris and Amanda Show. And Amanda, it's our 10th episode. You got kicked again? Oh, Amanda. How does this keep happening? No. Gotta get you back up here. These buttons.
There we are.
These buttons, I'll tell you.
You know, I swipe to the left, and it just boots me out. I don't know how I do that. But hi, everyone.
Well, here we are. Once again, welcome to the show, everybody. This is our 10th episode. Number 10.
Number 10. We are officially in double digits. Hi, 10. And look at all of our friends. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. Smiley faces. Me hopping on the stage a million times, I see.
It's happened. It happened.
How is Chris's audio? Is he a little quiet?
Yeah, am I? All right, I'll turn it up.
Oh, let me see. I think you're sounding good on my end now.
All right, check 1, 2. Hey, there you go.
Ooh, sounding good. Does Chris sound good down in the audience? Clap and cheers.
I'm seeing some claps and some smiles, and all right.
All right, and how is my audio sounding? Is mine okay? All right.
All right.
We are ready to rock and roll because we have a fun show, Chris. So fun.
We do. We have a really fun show. This Amanda and I, when we come up with other names for just shows that we could do, just in general, not even on here, just other shows. We have big dreams, Amanda and I. So we're like, so we have Chris and Amanda go to the movies. So today we're going to the movies, and we have selected, and this was, by the way, and you and I talked about this. This was so hard. So this will not be the last time that we do this show, this Amanda and Chris go to the movies, because this was so difficult because there are so many songs that we love. And so what we did is we tried really hard to pare down 3 songs each from some of our favorite films or films that we liked, or in some cases, songs that we liked from the films, even if the films weren't that good. But the songs are really good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like you said, it was hard to narrow down songs from movies because I feel like a soundtrack can make or break a movie's success. So there's a lot of, as I've referenced many times, I'm like, oh, that's in this show. It gets me in the feels. And I can remember a show based on the actual music, not the actual actors or actresses. It's the music behind the movie or show. So this is right up my alley. It's one of our many themes that we have up our sleeves, but this is one that we are like, let's do it. Let's do it. It's our number 10. We're double digits now.
We're double digits.
Boys and girls.
We are. We're big boys and girls, and we wanted to, do something special, and this was what we came up with. So we're really psyched. I feel like we've got a bunch of good songs to talk about, and some of the stories behind them and some of the films behind them as well. So if this is your first time joining us on the Chris and Amanda Show, welcome. The show format is really simple. What Amanda and I do every single week is we pick 3 songs for each other to listen to. And the reason why this works so well is that Amanda and I come from 2 different spectrums of the musical side of life. I'm definitely much more of a rock, metal, punk, hardcore fan, while Amanda is a country gal from the Midwest who really digs her Norah Jones Pandora stations and Christmas music in the summertime.
It just makes me happy.
Just makes her happy. So every week we just, we play songs for each other that we think we may or may not have heard before, and we talk about them, and we just give our reactions and reviews of said songs using our very elaborate record rating scale of 1 to 5 records, with 1 record being absolute hot garbage, dumpster trash, dumpster fire, and going all the way up to number 5, which is This Is a Great Song That We Cannot Live Without, and it is in my brain forever and will totally make my daily playlist.
It's so true. It's so true. And we've
That's it.
had our last episode, we had 2 5-record songs, and they were
Mm-hmm.
both the last song choices of the episode. And we did not plan that. And we ended up with a 3, a 4, and a 5, like for each of us. So
Yeah.
it was very interesting. Very organically landed like that. And
Mm-hmm.
that was our first episode with 2 5-records. So it was good song choices.
It was really good song choices. And that's another thing too, is as we do the show, we always encourage audience participation. So, and especially with this episode. So as we talk about these songs and the films, feel free to raise your hand and join us on stage in between as we're talking about these songs and these movies in particular. Because if you have a story, or if you agree or disagree with our assessment, or you really like or dislike the song that we're talking about, let us know. And then, of course, at the end, we always leave time for everybody to come up and share their thoughts. And especially with today's episode, if there's certain songs from films you would like to let us know which are your favorites. It doesn't necessarily have to be on this list in particular, but we'll do that at the end of the show as well, because as I said, we will be doing this show for sure again, because there are so many movie songs that I would love to include. And it's like, well, I just have to pick some and start going with it. So
absolutely. I'm already having a hard anxiety issue over having to pick Christmas songs at some point. I know this is going to happen. How do you pick 3 Christmas songs? That
may have to be a month-long thing. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out.
That sounds, the anxiety just went down a little.
I just saw your face turn completely red.
I was like, oh, so much better. So much better.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, I'm going to go ahead and say what your songs you gave me this week in the movies, if that is okay.
Oh.
So your number one. Oh,
well, real quick, before you do that, we do have, for the first time ever, well, I would say for the second time, but the first time, we have a song that that was on both of our lists without even talking to each other.
Yep. And
we agreed to keep that as a bonus song in this episode. So this happened once before with the Go-Go's in Vacation. And we said, all right, well, I'll do it. But this time we agreed to keep this as a bonus song.
It's and when we're going to do this one last.
Yes.
And because we might say we're saving the best for last on this episode.
We might. We just might say that.
So buckle up, friends, and hang on to the end of this episode. Thank you for reminding me, because I forgot about that. I forgot to mention it. So your number one is 3 Small Words by Josie and the Pussycats, from Josie and the Pussycats.
Yes.
Number 2 song is Dyslexic Heart by Paul Westerberg from Singles.
Yep.
And then the 3rd song is Let's Go Crazy by Prince and the Revolution. And that's from Purple Rain.
Of course. Of course.
Classic choices here. Classic choices.
Yes, we have a lot. I'm telling you, once again, so hard to do. So your list to me was Blue Swede, Hooked on a Feeling, which I have a lot of notes on this song because it was a bunch of stuff I learned.
Look at me already going.
I know. It's so hard to not the minute you know that song.
Yes.
Your second song for me was Bruce Springsteen's Secret Garden. From Jerry Maguire.
Jerry
Maguire. And your last song was by Stevie Nicks, If You Ever Did Believe, by the film Practical Magic.
Can't wait to hear all your thoughts on this.
I have thoughts, I have notes, I have history, I've got all kinds of stuff going on.
I love it. So Chris has the, spreadsheet. I have the colored paper.
Yeah, I've got the Google Chromebook. All notes are stored on the Chromebook.
I'm 1980s. Chris is 2021. It's all good. Well, who wants to go first this week?
All right. Well, I think you went first. Did you go first last week?
I think so.
All right. So I'll go first this week with your pick. Done by Blue Swede, Hooked on a Feeling, from the film Guardians of the Galaxy. But this did appear in other films too, so we'll be talking about that. So for anybody that doesn't know out there, so Guardians of the Galaxy was released in 2014. It was a Marvel Studios film, an MCU, part of the MCU. And if you haven't seen it, here's the quick slug line. A group of intergalactic criminals must pull together to stop a fanatical warrior with plans to purge the universe. So that is the slug, the tagline for Guardians of the Galaxy. Dun dun dun. It was released in 2014, written and directed by James Gunn. And if you haven't seen it, it is awesome. It is hilarious. And the soundtrack for this film is absolutely phenomenal. Loaded with classic hits from the 70s. And I would say mostly the 70s, maybe very early 80s. It's called Awesome Song Mix, which is a reference to the tape, the cassette that Peter Quill listens to the entire time in the movie. It's part of the plot of the film and all that. But Hooked on a Feeling, great song, used in the trailer. They used the song so well. And also in another very famous movie, which some of you may or may not know, which is Quentin Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs, also appeared in that film.
That movie?
It is 100% in the Reservoir Dogs. And it was also featured in Ally McBeal. So whenever Ally McBeal would see like the dancing baby, this is the song that was playing. So it's been used a few times in films and TV. So here's something I didn't know as I was checking songfacts.com about the song. Was that the song was written by Mark James, who originally wrote Elvis Presley's Suspicious Mind. So Blue Swede was not the original performer of this song. This song was actually performed twice before Blue Swede did it. So it was originally recorded by B.J. Thomas, and this was his second single. So the song was written by Mark James, who then it was recorded by B.J. Thomas, and it was actually the second single from his record. He was more famous for his bigger hit, which was Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head.
I'll be darned.
So that was his, and that song went to number 1. This song, I think, charted at number 5 when it was released. So the original version was by B.J. Thomas, which I was like, wow, and I went and listened to it, and it's definitely the same but different for sure.
Okay.
But it's worth checking out. So, and these are all on Spotify. You can listen to all these versions on Spotify, which is kind of cool. So in some more interesting stuff was the chant that was used in this song was actually used in the next recorded version, which was in 1971, and it was done by the English singer and pop mogul Jonathan King. And he added the Ooga Chakas, and that was based on a chant from the Johnny Preston 1959 hit Running Bear. So that Ooga Shaka was added in the next version by Jonathan King. His version was a UK hit, and it reached number 23 on the charts there. Then in 1974, Blue Swede recorded their version and kept the Ooga Chakas in because they liked it.
It's such a good addition.
Yeah, it was. It's a really cool addition. And the song was a massive hit, reached number 1 in US, Holland, Australia, and Canada. And they would be the first Swedish band to hit number 1 in the United States.
Look at all of this history.
And then ABBA came out, and ABBA blew it away. But they were the first Swedish band to reach a number 1 song in America. The song actually became popular. Their version became popular. There was an article in Rolling Stone, and it said a few copies made their way to the United States where a woman in Connecticut played the song in her record store, and this led to local airplay, and the song spread quickly and became a number 1 hit. So when their version, just because she played it in her record store. So the 19, and then of course, as I said, in 1998, the song was used in Ally McBeal, and then eventually in Reservoir Dogs, and then also the last known use of the song is Guardians of the Galaxy, so this song just keeps getting like new life, it just keeps finding like a new audience, a new life. It's a really cool song. It's so much fun to listen to. I mean, you can't help but like do a shuffle, do a little shuffle when you hear it. You're like, ooga shaka, ooga, ooga, and it just comes on. It is. It's such a great tune, and you really. So I used to, before Guardians of the Galaxy, I used to just think of like it would come on and I would think about Reservoir Dogs because I love that movie and it's in that film so well. They do it so well. And then and now Guardians of the Galaxy, and now it's like you just can't help but think of these films when you hear these songs, and it's like, and here's a song from 1974, actually even older than that, which has had like basically 3 different lives. I mean, there's one song written has been recorded by 3 different artists over time, and every time it's been recorded, it's charted and been some sort of a hit. And now it's this version that seems to keep making it into like films and TV. So it just keeps living. It's really cool.
I love it.
So so my rating on this song is definitely this to me, because it's a classic song and it makes you feel good, and this song's probably across a bunch of playlists that I have. I'm giving it a 5 record because I mean, you just can't. I mean, sorry. No matter what you're into, like music wise, you hear this song and it just makes you feel good. It's got that dance and it's got that cool like 70s vibe to it, and it's a happy song. Everybody digs it, even when you put it on. You know, kids hear it and they're all like,
"It is. It's just it makes you feel." And you know, I love my feelings.
I know you love your feels. You love your feels.
And you know, my favorite character. Okay, who's my favorite character? Do you think from that movie?
From that movie?
Yeah,
I would. From that movie, I'm gonna probably say it's Groot.
Yes,
because you like the dance, and it's like, you know, you got this Amanda Shuffle thing you do, and I'm like, nice, and you're like, you know, you're Groot.
He's so cute, baby Groot. Like, oh my gosh. Like, it's so cute. Honestly, I have to say, like, I feel like that movie's super cute, but the soundtrack totally makes it.
The soundtrack really makes it. Yeah.
Baby Groot. Without Baby Groot and those special songs, it would have fallen flat. I'm positive.
Well, you know what's funny about that movie too is like, so Guardians of the Galaxy is definitely, before they turned it into a film, reading the comics, it's a super, super weird, bizarre story. Like it's odd. And so the fact that it became such a commercial hit was like such a shock, I think, to so many people, especially comic fans, because it's just such a bizarre thing. But you know, James Gunn as a director and a writer is so good, witty, smart, and he added like that, which now has become sort of like the Marvel humor. Really how, so it's like, it was just a perfect combination of everything. You know, the good script, good directing, great casting, and that soundtrack. Oh, soundtracks really, really make a film.
I couldn't agree more.
And oftentimes, which we'll talk about, is sometimes the soundtrack is so much better than the actual movie.
Agreed.
But the soundtrack wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the movie, or that song wouldn't have been created in the first place had it not been for the. In this case, this song was created well before it was ever used in a film. But it's amazing how when you put something in a film, how it does take on that life, or a television show or whatever. And it's like, it gets you that exposure to an audience that you didn't reach the first time around.
Agreed. That role for, what is it called when people choose the music? What is their title for movies? Like the person who gets to pick the music.
Oh, well, there's the I mean, there's a few. I mean, there's the person who does the scoring, the composer. And they'll make, that's the movie score. That's the movie score. But a lot of times the director will have a big say into like will have a huge say in what songs are used in the film. You know, and then obviously too, they work with the composer, the music composer, to develop a score and create a score that goes along with the images and things like that. So oftentimes directors will want certain songs in a film and they just can't get it because they can't get the rights or anything, or it's too expensive. It's way too expensive to license. So they then have to get a second song or pick something else. Like a guy like Quentin Tarantino writes his scripts to music. Like he actually develops his soundtracks and then writes, because he like certain songs. Yeah.
I dig it. If I did, that would be my approach.
Yeah.
I go, I really like this song. How can I make a movie around it? I'm obnoxious. How's everyone doing in the audience? Can we get a little clap? You guys doing good? All right.
Awesome.
I like it. Thank you. All right. So Chris's first song, 3 Small Words. All right. Look at all these clips. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
3 Small Words by Josie and the Pussycats. In Josie and the Pussycats. So I've never seen this movie.
Okay.
I don't know why. I just never have. Because I think I probably would like it.
I think this is a film you would totally like.
So I can't say, it's not like I haven't watched it for any particular reason. It's just never maybe been on, or I haven't, intentionally searched it out. So when you did this song, I was like, interesting. Why haven't I seen this movie before? Never had heard the song before either.
Three Small Words
But
is a great song.
it's really good.
Yeah.
So at first I was like, I'm so literal. I'm like, what are the three words? I think it's I love you. I think it's I love you.
Yeah.
And so I had to Google the lyrics just to see if like she referenced the words in there. And what I didn't get, it was like 6 hours and 5 days. Like it took me to figure out, I was like, the math doesn't add up. I know I struggled with 8th grade math with Owen this year virtually, but I was like, what is that supposed to mean? Like I was just taking the lyrics a little too literal. But it was a very, very, very fun song. And every time I listened to it, I enjoyed it more. I don't think that probably surprises you.
No.
And I just really am still shocked that I haven't watched the movie or seen it. Because when was this movie out?
So this movie was out in 2001. This was originally released then,
Oh my gosh,
and
20 years ago.
yeah, and it was starred. It was actually a really cool cast. It had Rachel Lee Cook, Tara Reid, and Rosario Dawson as the Pussycats. Rachel Lee Cook played Josie, and it was directed by Harry Elfont and Deborah Kaplan. And it was really, so the film itself isn't amazing, but it's a lot of fun. It's so over the top and does like a really big commentary on like music and commercialism, and it's this whole like, wackadoodle like plot of like, but it's also, it was a comic book. I mean, Josie and the Pussycats, derivative of Archie comics. So
comic book.
Yeah, well, Josie and the Pussycats, the original cartoon from like the 70s and 80s when we were kids, like, but they're part of the Archie comics universe. Like,
I don't think I realized that.
Yeah, that's like them, Sabrina, the Teenage Witch, Josie and the Pussycats. They're all part of the Archie comic universe, and so they were the offshoot of Archie comics, and they had that really popular the Hanna-Barbera cartoon back in the day, and so this was the film version of it, definitely updated for 2001.
Sure.
But this soundtrack, so the movie's like just fun. It's really over the top. It's very comic booky. I think you'll like it. It is fun, but the soundtrack is amazing. And I love, this is one of my favorite movie soundtracks, where it's like, I feel like the soundtrack is better than the film, but the soundtrack wouldn't exist because of the film. So they were like, we have to make a band that would be Josie and the Pussycats in 2001. Sure. So they did this like total combo of like pop punk and just hard rock and riffs and things like that. And the band is actually made up of like serious, like heavy hitters from the day. So you've got, so this song in particular, the whole record, the whole soundtrack was produced by Babyface, and these songs were written, actually co-written with the directors Elefant and Kaplan. But the band itself is made up of, check out this lineup of all the musicians that were quote unquote Josie and the Pussycats. So Adam Schlesinger of Fountains of Wayne, who God rest his soul just passed away this last year, which amazing songwriter. Matthew Sweet, Jason Faulkner of Jellyfish, Dave Gibbs and Steve Hurley of Gigolo Ants, Jane Whelan of the Go-Go's, Adam Duritz of Counting Crows, Adam Warnocker of That Dog, which is, Never Say Never. That was on our list. And Kay Hanley and Michael Eisenstein of Letters to Cleo, one of my favorite bands. And Kay Hanley is the voice of Josie on all these songs. So
interesting.
If there's any Letters to Cleo fans out there, Kay Hanley, who I absolutely adore, is the voice of Josie. She co-writes a lot of these songs. Yep. And so that's another reason why I love this soundtrack, is because I can listen to Kay Hanley sing forever. So it's just such a great soundtrack. And so there's a bunch of different songs on the soundtrack that even went us so far too. Like one of the subplots in the movie is there's like a boy pop band called De Jour. And they're like a total like goof on like the Backstreet Boys and like NSYNC.
That's fantastic.
And the vinyl version, Mondo did an amazing re-release of the vinyl version of the soundtrack, which I got, and they put in a De Jour 7-inch single for like their hit song from the movie. It's hilarious.
I've never been, the only boy band I really liked was New Kids on the Block, and no one else could ever replace them. So
yeah.
NSYNC who? I mean, no offense to any NSYNCers down there.
Right stuff.
The right stuff. That plays on my Debbie Gibson channel. And hey, side note, I went to that concert when they
I'm sure you did.
Came back, and that was the night Michael Jackson died, and then they did a bunch of Michael Jackson songs, and I loved him even more. It just
It all
Settle
came
down,
together.
Amanda. Settle down. I was there with my bunco girls. Like, did that not just make me like so cool and so old all in the same story? That's Amanda for you.
Amanda Sharp, ladies and gentlemen.
So with all those great discussions that we've had surrounding Josie and the Pussycats, 3 small words, I'm going to give it 4 records.
All right.
4 records. I don't know that it's going to get to 5 because I don't know that it has the elements of a 5 record song, but I think I'm going to enjoy it more and more and more as I listen to it and really rock out to it.
Yeah, this is a great song, and I highly encourage you to listen to the entire soundtrack because there's so many other great songs on there.
Ooh,
so yeah, definitely check it out. Yeah,
Angel's liking them.
Yeah,
Angel's liking them.
And for anybody, if you want to follow along with us or play along or whatever, there's always you can always access all the songs that we talk about on our Spotify playlist. So every week we update our Spotify playlist. It's the Chris and Amanda Show. You can get to there by using the link right in the fortune cookie here, or you can go to the chrisandamandashow.com and access it there, and it's always updated every single week. So all these songs we're talking about are 1,000% on there.
Absolutely. So do we want to invite anyone up that has anything to say about the 2 songs that we have rated so far? You're welcome to hop up on stage if you want to add anything or take anything away or give us a scolding or love us for our remarks. Raise your hand or forever hold your peace until the next time we offer this. Any hand raising? I see some hearts. All right.
All right. Okay. Awesome. Well, we'll keep moving right along. So you're second. Oh, John.
Oh, John. Hey, John.
Hey, John.
Hey, welcome. Chris. Hey, Amanda. Always good to talk to you guys. I'm definitely going to chime in here a little bit later towards the end, but just regarding what you just brought up in this first set, huge Letters to Cleo fan, and I do have a soft spot in my heart for that soundtrack too. I really do. But which one of you brought up ABBA earlier?
I did because I had found out that this song by Blue Swede was the first. According to the notes, that they scored the first #1 hit before ABBA did, for that song, for Hooked on a Feeling.
Right. Okay. So I don't know if you've had a chance to hear it yet, Chris, but Portishead did a cover of SOS for the film High Rise a few years ago.
Then I definitely missed that one. I'm a big Portishead fan. I missed that. Oh my gosh.
It's nuts. It's really hard to find. It's really hard to track down, but if you get a chance, I think you'll get a huge kick out of it.
Okay.
And then, Amanda, I'm going to be quiet for a little bit after this, but Amanda, you brought up Bunko. I just want to, no, I got to give you props because my mom actually runs a Mardi Gras float called the Crew of Bunko. So you got mad props from me.
Thank you. It wasn't my music choices this week. It was my bunco skills. I love that. Thank you so much, John.
Yeah, of course. Last thing before I step off, though, you, Chris, you had to bring up Reservoir Dogs, and not even 3 weeks ago, I was down in New Orleans for a wedding, and all of the groomsmen were requested to dress like Reservoir Dogs.
Oh,
wow.
And so we walked into the reception. I had a boombox on my shoulder, and we were blasting Little Green Bag when we walked in.
Oh, my God. Amazing.
Cool.
That's
so cool.
Amazing.
I love it, John.
That's so great, John.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And feel free to hang on stage as we're continuing to do the show, because I'm sure you're going to hop back up. Angel, hello.
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 Can you hear me okay?
We hear you fine.
Great.
Fantastic. If anyone was driving around the Chicagoland area in 2002, they would have seen a younger version of myself with the music cranked up and Josie and the Pussycats playing very loudly.
Yes.
That album is fan-freaking-tastic, and every time I listen to it, I turn into a teenage girl again, and I dance around my room in my underwear. It is wonderful. I felt like I needed to share that because I haven't heard anybody mention anything about that album or the movie in like years. So thank you for the nostalgia.
Oh, you're welcome. And that soundtrack actually just celebrated a 20-year anniversary.
That's
actually,
Amazing.
just very recently, or I think it was, or 20. Let me get to it because the article is awesome. I found this article on Stereo Gum, which was great. 20 years. The film goes. The headline is 20 years ago, Josie and the Pussycats flopped, but its soundtrack deserves another listen. And that was put out on Stereo Gum on March 26th of this year. So
I feel like pointing out that was 20 years ago was a little bit hurtful for you to do right now.
Well, that's okay because I'm thinking about it too, and I'm like, damn, the movie was 20 years ago. Holy smokes!
Oh my gosh!
But it's still just as fun, and I still feel the same. I feel the same way too. I crank it up, and I'm like, this is great. I'll drive around in my car with this like pulled up, and the girls, my daughters, will be like, Dad, like, but what are you doing? I'm like, it's Josie and the Pussycat soundtrack. Leave me alone.
It's so good. I put it on for my nieces, and they're like, what is this? And I have like that one niece who's like a little quirky, and she's like, this is cool. And I was like, yeah, it is.
Yeah,
you're my favorite today.
And Angel, if you get the, I think there's still some available, but you got to check out the vinyl re-release of this. Mondo did it, and it is awesome. It's such a cool, like, they really did a nice job with it. And as I said before, they included like a little like du jour single 7-inch in there too to add to the fun of it. So I think there's still copies of it floating out there. So I would highly recommend picking that up if you're into that. Even if you don't have a record player, it's just a cool collector thing to have.
That sounds awesome.
I may or may not have purchased that.
I definitely purchased it. I wish I'd bought two.
Chris, I'm so glad this was one of your choices because it's brought up a lot of conversation. Well, thank you, Angel, and thank you, John. Feel free to hang on stage with us and add to the show as you have something that you might want to mention. So, Chris, let's hop to number 2 of my song.
Number two. All right. So your second song to me was by Bruce Springsteen, and it's a song Secret Garden from the film Jerry Maguire, which was released in 1996. And so for anybody that hasn't seen Jerry Maguire, which I can't imagine at this point anybody hasn't, it's been on everything. Read somebody, yeah. And I mean, at the very least, everybody knows the show me the money scene. Even if you haven't seen the whole film, So the quick slug line about Jerry Maguire is when a sports agent has a moral epiphany and is fired for expressing it, he decides to put his new philosophy to the test as an independent agent with the only athlete who stays with him and his former colleague. Movie was written and directed by Cameron Crowe, starring Tom Cruise, Cuba Gooding Jr., and Renee Zellweger. And Cuba Gooding Jr. won the Best Actor in a Supporting Role that year. This film was nominated for Best Picture, Best Actor in a Leading Role, Best Writing Screenplay, written directly for screen, and Best Film Editing, but ultimately the Oscar went to Cuba Gooding Jr. for Best Supporting Actor. So very, very cool information about that film. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. And by the way, this is one of 2 Cameron Crowe films on our respective playlists for this show.
Look at that.
So
look at that.
Once again, people, we're not even trying. It just happens.
Not even trying. It just happens.
Just happens. But it's no coincidence because, I mean, in the sense, Cameron Crowe, once again, when we're just talking about directors and people who create films and, like James Gunn, and, they're very selective about the music. Cameron Crowe, being a music writer, journalist for years, filmmaker, also an excellent curator of films, of songs, and putting the right songs in his films that express, whatever the scene is or whatever he's thinking about that time. This song is definitely up there with his selection of songs. So, the song itself is about a woman who has a very guarded relationships. Basically, if you prove your worth, she might let you into her heart, but there's always a place, her secret garden, that's off limits to everyone but her. So that was some I found that on the web as far as like what the song was about. Interesting note about this song, Bruce Springsteen wrote this for his 1992 album Human Touch, but decided not to use it on the album. He didn't record it until 1995 and released it on his greatest hits set. And then it was eventually Cameron Crowe took it and said, I want to put it in a film. Interesting enough, this song actually became more of a radio hit when a disc jockey mixed in bits of dialogue from the film that You Had Me at Hello. And it was, and once they started doing that, like the film like really took off. So it was in the movie, but then it really like took off when somebody decided to get a little creative, and it's basically what somebody would have done on YouTube today, but in 1996 it was all on the radio, and so it just boosted the song big time. Another interesting fact is this song, which I don't remember. It's been years since I've seen this film, but it was also featured in Night at the Roxbury.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I totally. I'm like, I got to go back and watch the film, but it's credited as being in Night at the Roxbury, and was also, and I remember this, it was featured in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. The show It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Marcus has watched that. I never have. It just fits so perfectly in Jerry Maguire, and it's just it's a long song, but it's a good song.
It is a long song, and it's definitely. I will say I know the prerequisite is, Chris, you're from New Jersey, so you must be a huge Bruce Springsteen fan. And I'm going to admit, I am not a huge Bruce Springsteen fan. I may get me kicked out of New Jersey, I don't dislike Bruce. I don't. I just am not a huge Bruce fanatic. I'm not one of these people that thinks everything Bruce does is amazing. And I definitely has written some amazing songs. There are songs I do like of Bruce Springsteen for sure. But I'm not like I'm not in the cult of Bruce category for sure. This song in particular, yes, I agree. It's a little long. It does make me think of the movie though, when I listen to it. And so that's the images I have going through my head is the movie. And then I remember back in the day, the DJ mix version with the dialogue put in. So it's actually kind of weird having not heard it in a long, long time. And then hearing it like straight as the song without that is like, holy, it was like, it actually feels like a different song now.
Yeah.
So it's a cool song. It makes me think of the movie when I hear it. I do think it's a little long. I'm kind of in the middle of the road on this song. Like, I think it's a cool song, but it's not something I would go to, but it does make me think of the film. And I do like Jerry Maguire for sure. So I give this song a 3 record.
That's fair. I
give this song a 3 record because it's as far as a Bruce song as far as it goes for a Bruce Springsteen song, it's like okay. For a movie song, it's cool because it makes me think of the film. So that's why I give it 3. I give it 3 records. Not a bad song, just not like a go-to song.
Fair enough. And it was the version with the movie clips in there that really just made me like fall in love. I don't even necessarily love the movie Jerry Maguire very much. The pieces that DJ put into the song are, in fact, my favorite parts of the movie. So it actually was so perfect that it's like the cliff notes for the movie. And I don't like Tom Cruise. So it's interesting that I even like this song, but it's just so good. And it's almost like talked versus sung.
Right.
It's kind of storytelling a little bit.
Yeah.
And it just feels good when I listen to it. So I don't know what it is. The first time I heard it on the radio with those inserts, I'm like, this is it. This is it. And I think every woman has a secret garden in their heart. The only reserve. I think Marcus, he understands me 1,000% now. There's no hidden parts of Amanda anymore.
There's no secrets.
There's no secrets, whether he likes it or not. He's like, I've seen way too much of her brain. But so I'll take the 3 records. I get it. Totally fair. But song's better than the movie though. Song's better. And I feel like your number 2 song is kind of like a love song. So it's interesting that both of our middle songs are kind of love songs, which is really cool.
And both Cameron Crowe films.
So interesting. And again, we never really planned the lineup at all. And so first, I've never seen the movie.
You've never seen Singles.
I've never seen Singles. I've never heard of Paul Westerberg.
Okay.
And I've never heard of Dyslexic Heart. So 3 strikes, I'm out. But, I love the intro. Yeah. Really, really like the intro.
The na. I know.
Yes.
I figured you would.
The music intro. And then I was like, ooh, I dig this. And then it hit me with the nanas. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is well on its pace for 4 records. And the words crack me up. It's so, I had never like heard men and women's relationship quite summed up like that. And I just thought it was so clever.
It is. It's really, really witty, like lyrics and like really cute and fun.
It is, because it's so true. Men and women's relationships are very complicated, especially like in the beginning.
Yeah.
And even after you've been married and together for many, many years, it's like, I said what I said. I'm fine. But sometimes that doesn't mean that you're fine. So I thought the song was very clever. I liked the lyrics. They made me smile. I'm going to have to watch the movie. Am I going to like the movie? Tell me about the movie.
So this movie came out in 1992, and it takes place in Seattle. So it was the when Seattle was totally on the map for everybody, like that whole lifestyle, the whole Seattle music scene. So it's very rooted in that, and it basically kind of tells the different stories between so I'll say, so it's a group of 20-something friends, as the tagline goes, a group of 20-something friends search for love and success in grunge era Seattle. And you've got this written and directed by Cameron Crowe, Bridget Fonda, Campbell Scott, Kira Sedgwick is in it. You also have Shelley Kelly, Matt Dillon is in it. He plays, he's got a great character he plays, which is amazing. Bill Pullman is in it. So you've got a lot of different other actors who kind of come in and out. And it's just a really amazing film for that, if you're into it. Now, I will say this, though. As much as I do like the movie, like my wife, she'll watch it. She's like, this is one of these films where people go, the soundtrack for this is, I'm just going to say this too. The soundtrack for this film is probably it's in my top 5 soundtracks of all time.
Really?
Because the soundtrack has got Pearl Jam, it's got Chris Cornell, Chris Cornell wrote songs. He actually scored the film. So there's even a cool, when they did the re-release, it came with a CD, the vinyl re-release, and it had some additional Chris Cornell music, which is, I can listen to Chris Cornell sing forever. I love Chris Cornell's voice. Great songwriter. But you got 2 Paul Westerberg songs. You got Mother Love Bone, Smashing Pumpkins, Jimi Hendrix on here. It's just, there's so many great, Alice in Chains is on here. And the songs that came on this record turned into be like huge hits for a lot of the bands. And it's just one of these great soundtracks that was a perfect encapsulation of the time that this came out in 92 from music, and then just matched the film so well. I will say, I don't think the film's I don't think it's on people's like top 10 list of greatest films ever. Okay. You know, I think I like the film because I just enjoy Cameron Crowe a lot as a filmmaker and a storyteller. Whereas my wife is she's very choosy, and she finds this film to kind of be boring and annoying because she doesn't like the characters in this movie. She's like, these characters are all annoying. And they are. They are. Because it's just all about, like, everybody's a little self-centered, trying to find it. You'd have to see it. I think you should watch it. I don't know if you're going to like it at the end of the day, but it's really just all about, like, people trying to find each other. And this song is 100% like a personification of this movie. Like, this song is the movie. Like, Dyslexic Heart. It's the movie.
Which makes sense. So, I mean, the lyrics were spot on. Really, really spot on. Who wrote this song?
So this is Paul Westerberg. So Paul Westerberg is, at this time, he was a solo artist, but he used to be in a few other bands. So he was also in a band called The Replacements. So he was and then he went off on his own.
So he actually wrote it too. Then.
Yeah. He's a very prolific songwriter.
I need to see a picture of him.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to Google it because I'm just curious to see the man who wrote such a spot-on song. It defines, what was that book or that phrase, women are from Venus, men are from Mars.
Yeah.
It's like he just made a song to go with that book.
Yeah, absolutely. It is that. It really is. It is. And he's written a lot of, there's another really great song on this soundtrack that he wrote, and it's called Waiting for Somebody, and it's another one of these, so it's waiting for somebody, it's like totally like that, like, so once again, something
right
you would alley. Like, yeah, right up your alley as far as like sing along and clapping, and it's got that, like, You know,
Back to it.
and when this song came out, actually, it was like every college radio station, any alt rock station play. You couldn't go anywhere without hearing the song.
Hearing it.
The, na 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 na. They even used it in like the trailer and everything. It was everywhere.
But it's a soft version. I'm honestly surprised because it doesn't really seem like that genre at all when you really are listening to it. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. So with that being said, I have to say I'm giving it a solid 4 records.
Wow. All right. Very
Another
good.
4 records. I think the lyrics were just clever, and it's the na-na-nas. Na-na-nas.
I chose it specifically. Well, not only because it's one of my favorite songs, but like I chose it because it's I'm like Amanda's I'm totally hooking her in with this. She's gonna love that starts with
na 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 na.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, hey, Angel or John, anything you want to add, or anyone else in our audience from what we just discovered from our ratings of Dyslexic Heart and Secret Garden?
No.
Yeah.
Sing it, girl. Sing it.
Chris, oh, God, you had to bring up Singles. Did you have to bring up Singles? That really is like one of the best soundtracks ever. It's so amazing.
I mean, we listened to that. I got to tell you, there probably isn't a month that doesn't go by where there's always a song from Singles playing in my house. And on top of that, this record is usually played either by myself or my wife at the very least once a month still. Like, it's just on like my turntable. Like, I have a little setup for my turntable where I have like sort of the records like that we're always listening to. And then there's like all the other records. This record, since we got the re-release, hasn't left that little area because it's always getting taken out and always getting played. So,
no, I don't blame you. But as far as that whole soundtrack goes, I gotta say, like, that was my introduction to Screaming Trees. Oh
yes.
My God!
Oh,
wow!
I nearly lost you.
Oh yeah. That song still holds a very special place in my heart. But hearing Chris Cornell do his solo thing for the very first time. Seasons blew my mind. I
Beautiful
spent
song.
months trying to figure out that damn guitar tuning he was using.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like his own tuning. It's really it's that so indicative of that time too, with like all like experimenting with different tunings and things like that. But it is a beautiful song.
Classical C. It's the same that he used in "Burden in My Hand" too. So it definitely stands out. But no, that was it. Just Singles is so amazing. I think the only soundtrack that could possibly line up with it from that era would be Clerks.
Yeah, another great soundtrack. Yeah, and believe me, like once again, it was so hard picking songs. Because there's like, songs from that soundtrack. And then there was also like The Crow. I mean, it's like so many. So it's like this is why we're going to be doing more editions of this theme for sure.
Empire Records.
Oh, good. Because as soon as
Empire
you guys
Records,
are done, I'm going to throw some curve.
Nice.
Nice.
Yes, Angel, I agree. Empire Records.
For sure. Sugar High was one of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
Clerks too. I'm a
Nice. Yeah, Mallrats soundtrack is good too.
Absolutely.
So fun. So, Chris, I'm very interested to hear what you have to say about my third choice.
Right. So your third choice is Stevie Nicks, If You Ever Did Believe, and it was taken from the 1998 film Practical Magic. 2 witch sisters raised by their eccentric aunts in a small town face closed-minded prejudice and a curse which threatens to prevent them from ever finding lasting love. Directed by Griffin Dunn and written by Alice Hoffman, starring Sandra Bullock, Nicole Kidman, Stockard Channing, and Diane Wiest. So this is actually a movie that I honestly can't remember if I've seen it or not. Like, because I watched the trailer and I'm like, I think I've seen this movie, but I can't really recall many scenes from it. So it may have been that I had it, but maybe it wasn't focused or we had it on in the background. So I actually am like, you know what? I kind of want to go back and watch this. And I'm pretty sure my wife has seen it. So this will probably be like a good thing. Hey, look, let's watch Practical Magic. So I'll get back to you on it because I couldn't really remember like having sat down and like watched this film from start to finish. This song, never heard this Stevie Nicks song before, by the way. And I love me some Stevie Nicks. Let's just say that right now. I mean, come on. Stevie Nicks for crying out loud. So She wrote the song, released in 1998 with the movie. Didn't know that Sheryl Crow was on vocals and also played the acoustic guitar in this, and she also produced the song too for Stevie Nicks. So there wasn't too much as far as history of the song that I could find on the internet. Just mostly that it was recorded for, I think it was going to be something she was going to put on a solo record, wound up becoming part of this movie, and then I think she re-released it or something like that, and then that it was this collaboration with Sheryl Crow and all, which once again I didn't know that until I looked that up. So I think it's a cool song. So what this song reminds me a bit more of is the earlier Stevie Nicks stuff, like when she was like with Lindsey Buckingham, like the Buckingham Nicks record that they did before they joined Fleetwood Mac. So it had a lot of callbacks to that, which I really enjoy, because I love when Stevie is just kind of like in her,
Stevie
it's
zone.
like it's a little more stripped down, and I like that when Stevie Nicks is that more stripped down songs rather than like all the big produced like rock songs and stuff, which I enjoy those songs, but I like when we kind of get to the core of Stevie Nicks, and then the song builds and all that and everything else kind of comes in. But I really enjoyed that aspect of it. I would say this is I mean, it's not up there as far as like the classic Stevie Nicks songs though, like the ones we all know and love, the ones that she did as a solo career, and then of course what she did with Fleetwood Mac. So but I, not having ever really heard this song, or maybe I heard it and didn't didn't click with me. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed listening to the song. I thought it was cool. I like the lyrics. I think that's kind of neat. I like the feel of it. So I would say, without really having seen, or can't remember having seen the movie, I'm going to just go with I probably didn't watch the movie. So I can't really make the correlation between the song and the film in that way. I would get, so we don't do percentages on this show, but I would give it, I would probably have given it a 3.8 records.
Okay.
But I'll round it up to a 4 because we don't do percentages.
I like it.
It's a cool song. I would save this song. I'm going to save this song in like a Stevie Nicks playlist I do have going on. And once again, it's just a song that wasn't on my radar till now. So I'm like, okay, I dig this song. I dig it.
It's perfect for the movie, and I think if you watch the movie, you'll feel like it earned that 4 record rating after you kind of see it used within the movie. It's just such that's a cute movie. I mean, spoiler alert. I mean, they kill someone. I mean, so I shouldn't be saying it's cute when there's murder and stuff, but he deserved to die.
Just saying.
So it makes it okay. Angel.
I was just giving.
So go ahead.
Sorry, you threw me off when you called it cute.
I think it's really cute. It's about witches, I guess. I mean, it is a little dark, but I just think it's really cute. I just love the aspect that it goes from childhood to adulthood, and it's kind of, it's pretty, and it ends with good closure. I like the closure.
I know you like the closure.
I like the closure. So I accept your 4 record rating. Thank you. And Stevie Nicks is fantastic.
Stevie Nicks is fantastic.
Classic. And speaking of classics, Chris's third song is Let's Go Crazy by Prince and the Revolution from Purple Rain. I'm a little afraid to admit I've never seen Purple Rain.
What?
I knew it was coming. Yep.
This is prerequisite viewing.
So I will have to watch that at some point.
I think I might need to leave this show. Like that's almost an offense. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm so sorry, John. I'm so sorry to disappoint you. I don't know why I've never seen it. Chris, when did the movie come out?
This movie came out in 1984.
So I've had many decades to watch it, and I just still haven't.
Yeah.
What's wrong with Amanda?
So I love the slug line for this movie is: a young musician tormented by an abusive situation at home must contend with a rival singer, a burgeoning romance, and his own dissatisfied band as his star begins to rise.
As his star.
Yes. So I will.
Pedro,
accept the
I'm
request by
gonna
Pedro.
get it. I'm gonna get it.
This is a prerequisite viewing. I think you may find some of this stuff in this film a little uncomfortable, Amanda.
Oh no!
But it's Prince. It's Prince.
Maybe that's what Pedro was coming up to say. Is Amanda, you might be uncomfortable watching this.
Yeah.
Hi, Pedro.
Purple Rain. Purple Rain. Yeah, no, it's definitely a staple. I just want to come up and say you have to watch the movie from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great.
It's as if he knows that I read the last page of a book and watch the ending of a movie. I think I've shared that with you guys too many times.
We got to have that closure.
I do. So Pedro had to be very, very specific about the instructions.
You're not alone, Amanda. I haven't seen it either.
Oh, Angel, come on.
Angel.
I'm aware that it exists.
Mm-hmm.
It's a must watch.
Angel, we'll have to watch it, and then we'll report back to each other and to Chris and John and Pedro.
Deal.
We should just have a streaming movie night with all four.
That would be amazing.
Fair. That's
fair.
Super fair. I like it. So, I mean, it didn't let me down. It was a classic song that I expected from somebody such as Prince. And I don't think he can ever go wrong. I mean, maybe nope. People... I don't know if anyone would disagree with that, but I just feel like he was just so good at everything he sings. So I don't have a lot of notes on this other than it's just a classic. I had never watched it, and I really enjoyed Prince. So with all that being said, and I feel like I should definitely give it 5 records because I've never seen the movie.
Yeah. Well, it is a 5 record song for sure. I mean, just Prince, man, there's so many things. And I don't want this to turn into a Prince show, but I mean, the man, yeah, the man was just a phenomenal musician, and the guitar, like one of the things, and I think it gets said a lot in some other circles, but just from a guitar playing aspect, Prince was absolutely a virtuoso guitar player, and the soul that he rips in this song is like, it just melts your face off. I mean, it literally melts you. I can't even listen to it right now without it melting my face.
Without it melting your face.
It is 100% an amazing song. And yes, and when you watch the film, Amanda, because the film, all the songs on the soundtrack, like it performs them in the film, and it's just great. So it really adds a whole other level. And then, and then you even get to see like more Stay in the Time ripping there. So it's just so cool. And you gotta watch this movie.
I will watch it and report back to everybody because I do feel like I've disappointed everyone in our audience. But I gave a 5 record.
No, which is great.
I had to ask. One of the notes is why. Thank you, John. Thank you. What made you choose this song versus some of the others in the movie?
Well, I mean, listen, everybody. It's hard to actually pick a song from the soundtrack that isn't amazing because they're all. This is once again when I was just saying like top soundtracks. Like, this is in my top 5 best soundtracks ever, and this is it. So this song in particular, there's something about "Let's Go Crazy" though I hear, and I do. I just want to go crazy, and that guitar solo. I mean, in "Purple Rain" is like amazing where he rips the guitar solo, and just that song is beautiful and just great. But like, there's something about "Let's Go Crazy." It's fun. You can put it on anywhere, any situation, and it works. Like, it's "Let's Go Crazy." It's Prince, partying. Let's go. Let's go time.
Let's let our hair down.
Let's go. And I figured too, for our 10th episode, the 10th episode of the Chris and Amanda show.
Let's go
crazy.
Let's go crazy.
Let's get nuts.
Solid 5 record that I think basically any Chris song that lands on our playlist, probably more than likely, if it's being rated by me, will probably have a 5 record. Spoiler alert!
Spoiler alert! Yes.
Spoiler! So I hope with my 5 records that didn't let you down too bad, John or Angel.
No, not at all. I know.
And so, Pedro says, this is what it sounds like when the doves cry.
That is true. So I know we're a little bit over our time. We usually keep it to an hour, but it's our 10th episode, and we're allowed to go a little bit over.
we probably can go 10 minutes over
Right.
because it's our 10th
Right.
episode.
And we do have a bonus song.
Yeah, we do.
That we both picked. And did not, once again, I swear to you all, when Amanda and I do this show, I really want to show, we do not share our lists with each other until we've picked them. We don't talk about the songs. We don't confer to each other. We don't, oh, should I pick? It honestly does not happen. And then we give each other a list, and we gave each other our lists for this show. And it was like, okay. Once again, I
don't discuss.
Yes. I always am confirmed of saying, now I know why we do this show together.
So let me ask, is there anyone in the audience or Angel or John that have any guesses of what our honorable mention song was? Because both Chris and I claimed it.
You two have such complete opposite end of the spectrum's taste. Like, I'm chomping at the bit. I
have no idea.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. This is good. This is going to be fun.
I think Pedro might be typing. Maybe not. Anyone else who wants to come onto the stage and give a guess or write in the comments before we
divulge.
Thank you. You knew I was struggling with a word. I'm like, what's a word I can use? All right. It doesn't look like anyone has any guesses. So, Chris, okay. I'm going to let you say it because for the life of me, I can't quite say who sings it correctly.
All right. So this movie came out in 1984. I'm going to read.
Oh, keep doing some spoiler alerts and see if then Angel or John can guess.
I'm going to go the slug line for this movie. So released in 1984, a troubled boy dives into a wondrous fantasy world through the pages of a mysterious book.
The answer to our never-ending story.
Oh. Bingo. The never-ending story.
Yes. So I think it goes without saying that it obviously is a 5 record.
Yeah, I mean this long live Atreyu. This written by Limahl. This was actually Keith Forsey and Giorgio Moroder, wrote the song in 1984. And, Moroder was an architect at Disco Era. I mean, he wrote phenomenal disco hits, most of all Donna Summers. It's a great song on the last Daft Punk record, which is a total tribute to him. And yeah, so he was the writer of this. Limahl, whose real name is Chris Hamill, was best known as a lead singer of Catchy Goo Goo. So if everybody remembers Catchy Goo Goo, had the song Too Shy, 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 1983 hit with Too Shy. And he was ousted from the group to embark on a solo career, and the Never-Ending Story gave him a solid solo hit. But he never had a hit in America. However, and then the female voice on this track is American singer Beth Anderson, and just awesome. So, I mean, that's just from songfacts.com, just ripping some of the little behind the scenes of the song. But come on, the Never-Ending Story, great song. And then when they did it in Stranger Things, yes! How amazing was that scene?
Oh my gosh.
So great. So great.
Let's just say how much we both love Stranger Things. What a great, fun show. It just is, I love it so much. And the humor from that scene, when it was such a serious scene, and Winona Ryder, when she's like eye rolling, like, seriously, this is what we're listening to right now. And for Susie to give the code or whatever, the formula, and he had to sing the song, and it just was so clever and so cute. And that actually caused like the song to trend up on the charts again, I believe, from Stranger Things.
Yep, absolutely.
And it's just, what a classic movie. What a classic movie. I mean, so cute, just super cute. And I can't say anything wrong about it, from the characters to the song. Just so good.
I mean, it's just so fun. I mean, it's just great. I mean, who doesn't want to be in this story? It's such a great movie.
Absolutely. So, Angel, any fond memories of the Never-Ending Story that you have?
So I have always had a really short attention span. And so the title, Never Ending Story, always pushed me away from it. And I still to this day have not watched all of The Never Ending Story. My husband was introducing it to my son one night because we do these movie nights. And we sat down to watch it. And my husband got mad at me because I fell asleep.
That's okay. It's okay. John, what about you?
Oh, absolutely. No, it's part of the quartet of my childhood movies, right next to Labyrinth, Dark Crystal, and Ghostbusters.
Those are like my same movies. Look at that.
Yes.
See, you have fantastic taste. No, but what a all right. So one specific memory regarding Never Ending Story is that was the film that presented death to me.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because of the Artex scene.
Yes.
And still to this day, like I will cry if I watch that movie and it hits that scene because it was the most
goosebumps.
Yeah, it was the most emotional and harrowing thing I've seen at the time, and so powerful. And yeah, it was beautiful, but of course, it was sad. But
right.
Like that movie had such an imprint on my emotional self. Like I can't even transcribe that.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just I love what you said there because that is so true. I mean, I remember seeing this in the theaters with a couple friends, and we went and we saw it, and I definitely was like, in 1984, it's like you don't see a ton of movies that really explore that. I mean, it's like my world is like all the same movies you and I were just talking about that you mentioned, John, and of course Star Wars and all that, and it's just like. But like that was like a very real like moment in that film, and it's like, wow, holy smokes! Like they went there, and it goes along with the themes of the movie, and the story and how storytelling and how that evolves and how people go through on these journeys together, and yeah, this is part of life, and these things happen, and they dealt with it in a really great way, and I would agree. I think that's a lesson I definitely learned from that, And in this song in particular, though, it's like, I mean, who doesn't, you hear the song and who doesn't want to be like flying around on Falcor? I mean, come on. I wanted Falcor. I wanted to ride on Falcor's back so bad.
Look, I'm developing a new punk and ska band over here in Raleigh right now, and I think like just because of this conversation, I'm gonna throw that in as one of my cover choices. Seriously, like
nice.
Yeah,
nice.
You struck a chord with me today.
All right, look at us.
Yes.
The Chris and Amanda Show.
On the Chris and Amanda Show all around today. That's awesome.
For our 10th episode.
I love it. See, no one disagreed with us on our song choice at the end here, our honorable mention.
Yeah, which once again, it just also speaks to like, while Amanda and I have very specific, like separate music styles that we listen to, there are a lot of things that we are very similar in taste on when it comes to movie shows, entertainment, things like that, and it happens. And we like she was talking about like we do like Stranger Things together. We actually watch a lot of very similar shows together. Which every time we're like, wait, you watch that? So it's always fun. And the fact that we're both like the Never Ending Story as one of our song choices, and it's like, oh my god, this is too funny. Like, and we're like, well, we have to leave this as like the bonus song that we both are. We're going to talk about. So this is a 5-record song, agreed upon 5 records.
Song.
Yes.
So much fun.
6.
So much.
6.
That's fair.
That is fair.
Well, if anyone else wants to come up to the stage before we wrap up the show, please raise your hand. We would love to hear what you have to say or type in the comments. But what a fun show.
What a fun 10th episode. This was great. I'm so glad we decided to do a theme, and then we were like, what can we do that would be really fun for us and for the audience? And we're like, movie songs would be great. Because everybody's got opinions on that. Everybody's got their songs, their soundtracks they liked, all that. So it was just a really nice way to have our 10th episode.
Absolutely. It's hard to believe that it is 10. I know we've said that already, but
I know.
It feels like we've been doing this forever just because it's been such a staple, but it's only been 10 episodes as well. But we're proud of getting to the 10th episode. And we've come pretty far in 2.5 months.
We have.
Yeah, hey friends, Chris, Amanda, I'm going to slide off stage here, but before I go and let you guys wrap up, I just want to say that while I can't make every episode that you guys have done just because of work obligations, this has by far been probably my favorite recurring series that's been showing up on Fireside. I really, really love what you guys are doing. And it's a hoot, and I think you don't need to cap it off in an hour because like you really do fire up some like great throwbacks, some great music choices. It's a fantastic conversation. And if either of you are around after the show, hop into the green room with me because I got some things that I'd like to throw your way, but not, take up time on your stage. So I'm going to hop off of here. Thank you guys so much for having me. Thank you for all of the nostalgia that you're bringing in, except for that whole Artex thing. I'm going to have a drink now. So, All right. Take care, guys. Thank you so much.
Oh, take care, John. Thank you so much for those kind words. I just went a little southern there. Kind words.
Kind words.
I'm gonna hop down to it. I just wanted to say that I'm looking forward to a TV music episode.
Ooh, we can do that.
We can do that. We can do that.
For sure. Thank you, Angel, for participating today. So much fun. Oh my goodness. Yay. And if anyone wants to see the video versions of this show, they're pretty fun. And we house those under our Patreon account for as little as $2. That's 50 cents an episode. You can see our obnoxious faces, my reaction, Chris's reaction when I kick myself out of the show, not once, but twice today. Chris is unfazed by it. He just continues talking, allowing me back in. It's just obnoxious. So a lot of fun behind the scenes stuff that we throw over there. So, while we don't require it, we always are appreciative if you want to head over there. And we always wrap up the show on an IG live afterwards. So feel free to find us over there for the after party show, as our good friend in the audience, Randall, had called it. And it's just kind of stuck.
Yeah, love it. It's always fun. So yeah, we always go over there and do a quick wrap up, as Amanda said. So yeah, feel free to join us over there for a little bit as we have some after show shenanigans. And feel free also, if there's anybody else in your life who you think would love listening to the show, please feel free to share the replay links with them, as we always love to, include as many people as we can on the show. So if they can't join us live, because we understand people are on different coasts, different parts of the globe when we're doing this. So we definitely encourage any kind of sharing for the replays as much as we can. And So, and the other thing is, yes, we always do the Spotify playlist. So make sure you check that out. All the songs that we talk about since we started back in episode 1 are on there. So if there's any songs that you're like, I've never heard before and I want to hear, you can hit the Chris and Amanda show playlist. You can get that by going to our website, thechrisandamandashow.com, or hitting the link in the fortune cookie right now.
Awesome. And John hopped back up. John. Oh, and he went back down. Oh. He was up, now he's down. He was up, now he's down.
Yeah, he was up and now he's down.
We'll catch him in the green room here shortly for sure. Well, thank you all for tuning in. You made the 10th episode very magical and a lot of fun, just kind of reminiscing about some of our favorite movies. So thank you for hanging in here.
Absolutely. And we'll be back next week. I know Monday is the observed holiday here in the United States, July 4th. So we have a big weekend coming up. Everybody's, people going away, 4-day weekend. A lot of people off from work on July 5th. But Amanda and I will be here. We'll be doing the show live. So we will absolutely be here. And I'm sure we're going to have another theme up our sleeves.
I think so.
I mean, you have to for July. For July 4th, July 5th, July 4th, July 5th. But yes, we will be here live next Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to do the show. So mark it on your calendars.
Absolutely.
Chill out in your backyards and join us for an hour of fun music talk.
Absolutely. We hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next Monday, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.